Pick it up. I am excited, y'all. So this is the very first podcast that I am doing. I literally hit her up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I sent her what is that? Voice text saying like, listen, what are you doing around noon tomorrow? Because I need to start recording these podcasts. If I keep pushing it off and saying, "Oh, I don't have this together, I don't have that together," I'm never gonna do it. So I don't have this all together. I'm just gonna be honest. I ain't got this all together. I don't even have a name. I've been trying to figure out a name.
The name gonna come. The name gonna come.
It's gonna come. I don't even have a name for this whole operation, but I knew that I had to just jump out there and figure it out as I go. So that's what we're doing. We're figuring this out as we go. So without further ado, this is my friend Roxie.
Hello.
So me and Roxie have been friends for how long do you think it's been?
Probably about
5
years.
5 years. We met in Ross.
5 years. Yes.
Funny story. We met in Ross. We looking through the shelf. No, the rack. And she was like, I think I follow you on Instagram. No, you said was it that you saw me running or something down?
Yeah, running down Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Yep.
So,
because I lived in Wentzville, but I worked at the CBG in Lake St. Louis. So I was always over there.
Did we exchange numbers? How did we keep in touch?
I think so.
It's crazy. It was a connection. It was for sure a connection. But we wasn't like, it wasn't like we were BFFs talking to each other every day. It was kind of like one in a, every blue moon, check in. Then we start going to the gym every now and again together. She is a real estate agent. She's a real estate broker. Let me put some respect on your name. She's a real estate broker, Rockstar Properties.
Rockstar Properties. That's the name of my company.
I will put her information in the description area. If y'all want to reach out to her, if you are you only licensed in Missouri?
Yes.
So if you are
I'll be licensed in Florida by the end of July.
Okay. Florida or Missouri. So Roxie was the one who sold my last house, and she's the agent that helped us buy this house. That's another crazy story because
hella crazy.
I was not in the market for a house, y'all. When I tell y'all we was not in the market for a new house, and I'm on Gundacker trying to help my little sister find a house in Texas. Not even in Missouri. And I was like, well, let me see what was on the market in Missouri. And this house popped up, and I called her and was like, I got to go see this house. And she was like, I will meet you there. And we came
right, it was like
here.
Same day.
we came straight here, put in an offer. She called me because I'm just assuming that we're not going to get this house because the market was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely multiple offers.
So I was like, okay, we're just going to put an offer in. We had already put an offer in on Nellie's house. Didn't get that, which I didn't expect to get that. So I didn't expect to get this house. She calls me and she's like, just general conversation. She's like, what you doing? And we're talking just in general. And she was like, guess what? And I said, what? She's like, they accepted y'all offer. I was like,
right.
girl, you could have led with that. And then I sent her through the ringer.
Right. That's when the panic started. I'm like, oh, shit.
Sent her through the ringer. The house had a reverse mortgage on it. Yeah. They didn't know when it was going to be.
Get it cleared.
It
was a lot with the reverse mortgage because the balance on the reverse mortgage was way higher than what we were under contract for. So
then my house was under contract, and I'm like calling her like, I'm not selling my house.
Right. And people don't really realize them closing dates in that contract. People get acting crazy when it's time to ask for extensions.
I was like, I am not selling my house. I know you probably was like, what the hell do you mean? It's literally a contract saying that y'all selling this house to these people.
It worked out though.
We almost signed a short-term lease on a 2-bedroom apartment. That's how crazy it was.
Look, I was trying to get them to move in with me. I'm like, y'all, ain't nobody in the basement. It's finished.
She's like, because y'all know the Fun Police. Fun Police, he is an alpha male, and he's going to figure things out. He's not going to lean on nobody else. And it's just understandable because even like back in the day when we were were living in Bell Fountain, and the house over there, we was letting the house get foreclosed on. Yes, we have had a house foreclosed on before on purpose because we were so dumb and young and didn't realize what we were doing. It was just like, oh, we don't want the house anymore. Okay, just let them foreclose on it. It was so stupid. But in the process of them foreclosing on the house, we didn't have another house to go to right away. So he sent us back to my mom's house, me and the kids, and he stayed in the house while it was being foreclosed on. Like, he was just sleeping over there because he had 2 full-time jobs.
Right.
So he literally would just go over there to sleep and then go to work, you know, throughout the day. And me and the kids were at my mom's house because he was not getting ready to go to my mom's house with us. It was just like, no, I'm not getting ready to go to your parents' house.
Right.
Y'all gonna go to your parents' house because I know y'all safe. But I'ma just sit out here and thug it.
Thug it out.
Thug it. So we ended up staying in this is before we moved here, when our house, our old house sold, we went to a hotel for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was 5 of us in Bentley in one hotel room. And then after that, when we closed on the house and
which hotel were y'all at?
We was in Chesterfield.
Okay, I know y'all were. I remember you said you were in Chesterfield.
We was in Chesterfield because, you know, honey, I'm gonna get a nice hotel room.
Right, you ain't staying in no wait, well, I ain't gonna say it.
right. I'm gonna get a nice hotel room.
Just in case some people might think a day's in is nice, or
right. I'm gonna say we paid a pretty penny. Let's just say that. So then when we closed, but then we had so much work to do to the house, me and the kids went to my mom's 1-bedroom apartment. Bentley couldn't be there because she can't have animals. She can't have pets. So Bentley and the fun police was in his truck.
Oh, wow.
So they were sleeping in his truck because, of course, he was working. So Bentley was with him while me and the kids were at my mom's 1-bedroom apartment for I think we thugged it out for a week. And that's when we was getting the rooms and stuff together here so that we can come and have somewhere to sleep while we worked on the rest of the house. But yeah, that's that.
See, y'all don't see all the stuff that come in.
Exactly. Y'all just see the glitz and glam.
And the buying and the selling. It's a whole lot more.
It's a whole lot more. But yeah, she was there. She was there the whole process. I drove her crazy.
No, you didn't.
Crazy.
It was fine. Well, it was to be expected. I'm like, any day now she finna call me and go the hell off.
I lashed out once and had to back up and apologize because I'm like,
it was all good.
You didn't deserve that. Good. I was just, frustrated and scared at the same time. It already was a scary process because we was stepping up in mortgage price wise. It was like, oh, hold on. I know we got it, but when the time comes, it's like, okay, right. Do we have it?
That's when shit get real.
That's when shit get real.
Them numbers start to be thrown at you. You like, wait a minute. Start contemplating.
Right. So anyway, during that time, Roxie was pregnant and engaged, living her best life. Y'all, this is
what I thought it was.
This is a boss chick right here. Let me tell y'all. She was living her best life. And we're going to shift the conversation a little bit. So stop me whenever I start bringing up stuff that you're not ready to share. Okay?
I'm good.
I'm going to flow with what you ready to talk about.
Okay.
But she was pregnant, so I really felt bad because I lashed out on you. You was pregnant.
Yeah, my hormones was all over the place. I was probably a good 8 months at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my hormones was everything bothered me. I was crying about everything. I was sad.
Oh my God.
They might not have nowhere to go. Like what?
You had a whole baby in your stomach, and here I am tripping off of a house. I feel so bad.
Look, I understood though. And people's livelihood, that's the one thing that's really, really stressful about real estate. When you care too much, it be.
And it's hard not to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess some people probably can be,
Yeah, black and white, but that's not me. I care. I be caring about my clients.
Roxie is a very caring, probably one of the most caring people that I know, period. And I'm not just saying it because you're sitting here, because I say it to a lot of people. Anybody that I've said this to, y'all can back me up, is that Roxie is probably one of the most genuine people that I know. We call her the Southern Belle.
Oh.
I wish she had a little more
It's
to
because
her
I'm
at
from the
times.
South. It's because
She
I'm from the
literally
South.
is. You from what? Destin?
Pensacola.
Pensacola. I don't know where
I'm
I
gonna
got
sit on the
Destin from.
porch. Come get a drink. Come. I'm from the South.
Yeah, she has that Southern belle in her, and I be
We
like,
don't meet a stranger. We be like, hey,
for real, because she would literally talk to anybody. But I'd be like, girl, you in St. Louis now. You'd have been in St. Louis for a while, so I'm gonna need for you to get some oomph.
Too long.
I can appreciate the Southern belle, but baby, can we get a little St. Louis in you just a little bit?
Look, I done got a little St. Louis in me. It'll change a little bit. It'll change.
But so after I closed on my house, we working on the house. Roxie is pregnant. Roxie has her baby. Yay, Simba!
Yes.
He's so cute.
Simba Malachi, y'all.
Y'all, he looked just like her. When I came up to the hospital, I was like, "Oh yeah, that baby look just like you."
We'll have to put a little picture in there of him.
I will. I'll insert a little picture of Simba. She has Simba, and then after she has Simba, no, I would say right before she had Simba, I started picking up on some stuff with you, where you are a very upbeat person, very upbeat. Like Roxie talks to everybody. She's happy. She's bubbly, very upbeat. But your personality had went like to a whole different level of being upbeat.
Yeah, it was like from here to...
Yeah. And I'm just thinking like, because I don't talk to you every day. So I'm like, well, maybe this is just not the happiest I've seen her. Maybe this is just how she normally is. So I remember picking you up. We went and got our toes done. Mm-hmm. We went and got ice cream.
Y'all, it was so sweet. It was a friend date. It was so sweet.
I loved it.
Like she coming over to pick me up.
She was huge too.
Big as hell.
Simba was in there ready to come out.
I think I was beyond 8 months. I was beyond. Yeah, I was beyond 8 months. So like,
you had.
I might have been past 9 months.
You had to be because you were huge. I remember you were due any day at that time.
Because my due date had passed, come and gone.
But she had the baby. We go to the hospital. I get to the hospital. You were talk. It was like you were going 1,000,000 miles per hour. But I'm like, okay,
and wasn't sleeping.
Literally, before you had the baby, you wasn't sleeping.
Oh yeah, I had insomnia for real. Like it was.
Yeah, and that was
bad.
Alarming because it's like, baby, you about to have a baby. Like, you ain't tired? Mm-hmm. You need to go lay down.
On 10, all day, every day.
So she has the baby. Simba had to be, a couple of weeks old when you come texting me talking about we taking a road trip to Atlanta? How old was he?
He might have been 2 weeks.
She texted me talking about we taking a road trip to Atlanta before Jaden. So she has a 8-year-old son named Jaden. And she was taking him down there before school start. Was y'all gonna do some school shopping or something?
So the objective was to get my baby on a little vacation before school started back. So Jaden spent summers with his dad because we're from Florida. His dad is in Tampa. So he was in Tampa for the whole summer. So he get back, we might have a week left before school starts. So I'm like, let me get my baby on a little mini vacation with us. Since he had all this time for the summer. So that was the whole purpose. And I needed to get away anyway.
Right.
And when you don't have no sleep, you have a newborn baby. I know this sounds probably cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But when you don't have no sleep already, it's like, why not take a vacation? You're going to be up anyway. It was my idea to fly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she will buy a plane ticket to go anywhere
on a whim. Yeah, especially if it's cheap. And I am however you want to say it, Ratchet, whatever, Spirit, Frontier,
all of them,
Allegiant,
all of them, all of them.
Cheap airlines are my best friend. Okay.
She would call me randomly, be like, I just found a ticket going to Florida for $120. You want to go? I was like, girl, it is Wednesday. What are you talking about? But it's normal for her to do that type. As long as I've known you, I think I've noticed that you were like that. Because you were always like, oh, just take a flight. Or like, I'll talk to you one day and then the next day you posted on Instagram in Mexico. And I'm like, she didn't even mention that she was going to Mexico. Like,
yeah, that's what helped my mental health. Let me tell you, being when you not from somewhere, you kind of gotta get away every now and then to keep your mind clear.
I agree. So she gets to Atlanta. So whole time I'm thinking she taking a road trip to Atlanta. Then I look on Instagram. No, I think you sent me pictures or something at the beach. And I'm like, I know
like,
for a fact I ain't the smartest person. But I don't think it's no beach in Atlanta. So I'm like, how the hell she end up at the beach? Me too. Yeah, so she goes to Florida. And it's still not really, it alarmed me, but not like that. It was just one of those like, what the hell? But it wasn't like, oh, something must be wrong. It wasn't until I got the phone call from another friend of yours that said, have you talked to Roxie? And I'm like, no. And I think I had talked to you like the day before or something.
Yeah.
When I was in Florida. No, was it a couple of days before that? I was in Florida. We were at Universal Studios and I refused to get off the phone with you because it seemed like you just needed an ear and you were just talking and you were venting and you were going 1,000,000 miles per hour.
I remember that.
I couldn't even get a word in, which I didn't need to get a word in. It was just like, even if I wanted to,
I was just going off.
You were just going. And I was just letting you. And we were standing in the middle of Universal Studios and I was just like, something is not right. I'm staying on the phone with her. Like, I'm gonna let her have this conversation, whatever she's going through. And then that's when, after that, a couple of days later, get a phone call from one of her friends asking, have I talked to her? And I was like, no, it's been a couple of days, what's going on? And she was like, Roxie is in a, what do you want to call it?
What I was calling it back then was prison.
She did keep calling it prison.
It was prison, y'all.
She literally was referring to it as prison, but it was a mental hospital.
Yeah, it was a mental health facility.
Where was it at?
And it was on the outskirts of West Palm Beach, Florida. So it wasn't in West Palm Beach, but it was on the outskirts.
And y'all, when she finally called me from this place, I think I didn't know it was serious until now. I'm telling y'all, she's a Southern belle. I rarely even hear you cuss. Like, when I hear you say a cuss word, it's so blue moon that every time you say a cuss word, I kind of like double back. Like, did she just say shit? Did she just say bitch? And she was on the phone, and I guess one of the nurses was, I forget what was going on. They didn't give you proper bottoms?
No, it was literally, so when I tell y'all, and I looked recently at that mental health facility, and when I tell you they had 1-star reviews all throughout the woohoo, like it was bad. So as a new mommy, you know that you have drip or breast pads that you need.
Right.
I was breastfeeding the baby at the time. So I breastfed my first one till he was 3 years old. So it was literally my whole overall goal, it was to breastfeed my baby. That's it. Anybody came in between that was
yes. Literally.
So
literally,
it was
she not
literally,
lying.
yeah. So it was literally. So I probably should say how I got in the mental health facility. The whole road trip, let's see, was probably 20 plus hours. We were in a Tesla. You had to stop. Charge the car.
That's right. She is my friend with the Tesla. I always talk about my friend with the Tesla.
So literally, too much time together. You at some point you gonna get on each other's nerves.
Oh, honey, yes, I know.
So yeah, by the time I went to the hospital for high blood pressure, my only thought was, I just want to go to sleep. That's it. Want to go to sleep. So I messed around and sat up in there and told them folks that I wanted to get some sleep and I wanted to jump off the pier.
God dang it.
Yep. That's what fucked me up.
Admit it. They was like, find her room. She ain't going nowhere.
And I'm pretty sure they had gave me some medication before that conversation with the little virtual screen came up. Because I was literally like so tired. I was done, y'all. Drowsy. I didn't want to be around the person that I was with at the time, the person that I was engaged to. I just wanted to go to sleep. So I believe they were like, okay, red flag, we finna Baker Act her. I didn't know what Baker Act was.
I didn't either.
I had no idea what
I had to research it.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, we going upstairs. I'm thinking we finna be in the hospital. I'm in West Palm Beach. I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna have my phone. I'm gonna get some sleep. That's it. I'm like, they gonna monitor me. They come in with a little. They moving the stretcher. I'm like, okay, we going upstairs, and they don't really communicate with you logically,
right? I agree. I can believe that.
So literally, I'm in this van. We traveling.
Oh, they put you in a van?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Traveling, and the dude driving the van, he had like 2 Chainz playing. I mean, he jamming out. So
yeah.
I'm like, I'm still kind of out of it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I still haven't went to sleep. Because I'm like, okay, are we going upstairs? Am I going to get in a hospital bed? Am I going to get... We get 20 minutes away. I'm sitting in the room. I'm looking... All I see was across from me. It was supposed to be lunch provided.
Okay.
Wasn't no lunch in the little room. I see across from me a guy in a window, and he looks at me, and he just like, he went like this. He put his head down like, oh,
what was that all about?
Yeah, what was that about? Because literally... That's what tell you like it was about to be some BS in this facility, because he literally looked at me like, damn, she don't even realize what she about to get into.
Damn. And during all of that, so when your friend called me and asked me if I had talked to you, I remembered, and I'm just not remembering now, that you sent me an audio. And you were laughing. You were just like, no big deal. You was like, yeah, I'm in this hospital. They got me in this straitjacket. Was it a straitjacket? Or you said they had you, did you have like something, they have something over you or something? I don't know, because you could have just been talking. Because
this could have been before I even left the main hospital.
And you were laughing. You were just like, oh, it's no big deal. And I remember thinking like, how does she have her cell phone? So I knew it. You had to been just not necessarily talking, because you did do a lot of talking, but now that I know, you were making sense with what you were saying. So the things that you were saying didn't make sense to us then, but I know now that you were pretty much saying what it was that was going on. It was just you were describing things differently than what you may
which
have.
Made everybody feel like I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. I think when you called me and you went off on that nurse, y'all, that nurse was poking. I don't remember what the nurse was saying, but the nurse was poking and poking and poking. All I remember is you calling her a bitch and
I was literally 2 seconds away from running up and knocking her the hell out.
And the phone just was like click. And I'm like, first of all, I have never even heard her talk like that before. Second of all, what the heck is going on?
I'm a Capricorn, y'all. We can go from 0 to 10. It can be happy-go-lucky, and then...
Listen, I didn't know you had it in you. I don't know if I was proud or scared. I don't know. But and then the next conversation I had with you, that's when you were talking, and that's when I got scared. And I'm like crying and stuff, calling the fun police. I'm like... something is wrong. Like, something is really wrong. Because we thinking, oh, she's just at the hospital. She's just going through something. She just had a baby. Like, it happens. That's norm. But no, talking to you, I was legit scared and thought that you had lost your mind. And I had never seen that before. So
yeah.
we hear women who have babies and go through postpartum depression. Not to say that it's normal, but it is normal. It's more normal than I think we realize.
It's very normal. I just don't think it's talked about.
It's
not talked about at all. And when I tell you, like, legit, I'm just going to say, legit, you can kind of cycle outside of where you are. Mm-hmm. That stuff can happen. I do account a lot of that to the hospital that I was in, because just to kind of rewind and go back to why I went off on the lady, I didn't have any breast pads. They didn't have a lot of what you need as a mother, as a new mother in that hospital. It was literally filled with people that were going through a lot of things outside of pregnancy or just had a baby.
Right.
So the side that I was on, I mean, they might have had, you know, soap for you to take a bath, shampoo for wash your hair. Nothing on the lines of a
new
mother
mom
that's in there.
that's breastfeeding.
2 weeks that's breastfeeding. Yeah. So I'm asking for a pump. Can't get no pump. I'm asking for
That's crazy.
storage bottles. Can't get no storage bottles. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm finna go in here, give me a nap, and I'm out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, if y'all know anything about mental health hospitals, you are stuck. Like, you can be
Yeah.
stuck for 2 weeks. And I remember having a conversation with you over the phone when I went off on the girl. I think maybe I called you back or something, but you was like, listen, let me tell you, you need to remain calm. They gonna have
like,
you in there for
yeah.
a long time.
I told her.
If you going off on these people.
Yeah.
When I tell y'all, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. Like, I was ready to fight. That's how mad I was.
And to me, you was like,
Because-
okay, I'm gonna be calm. And then
I had
call
like
up
some
there.
tissue or something, and it fell out.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I know you." Like, she basically had an attitude with how she said it.
Yeah.
like she said
She was
something like,
poking.
"Yeah, very poking."
Yeah.
And I just went ballistic. I went off on her.
I ain't never. But yeah, I had a conversation. So I don't know if I've had this conversation with any of my followers before, but I have been in a mental hospital. I've been in the psych ward before. And when I got there, first of all, wasn't expecting them to actually admit me. I wasn't. Me and the fun police, we were going. Well, I'm not going to bring the fun police in it because it had nothing to do with him. I was going through it.
Yeah.
I was going through something. I was at a very dark place, in probably one of the lowest places that I've been in my life. And this was just a couple of years ago, y'all. And I'm not talking about 10 years ago. Now I'm talking about maybe 3 years ago, and that I was just in a dark place, and I was going through something, and it was so bad where he had to call the police because he was worried. So he called the police, and the police basically told me either I come with them willingly or they was going to arrest me. So my kids was at the house. I'm not wanting my kids to see me walk out the house in handcuffs, so I had to, go with them. They take me to the hospital. I'm just upset. I'm upset because of the whole situation. I'm upset that the police had to bring me here. I'm upset that, the fun police even let them bring, because it's like, dude, really? Like, you was that worried you couldn't figure it out on your own? You had to call the police? But I understand his point of view from that. So I'm upset, and I'm in there crying hysterically. I'm in the ER, in the psych part of the ER, and it's really crazy people in there, like talking to themselves, banging their head against the wall, and I'm like, I don't belong here. So I'm crying because at this point I'm scared as hell. I'm like, I don't belong here, and they evaluated me, and because I was upset, they felt that I was not safe to go home. So they transported me to the actual psych ward, and I knew then that I had to suck that shit up. I had to stop all that damn crying, and I had to act like I had some damn sense so they could let me go home.
To get out of there. Yeah.
So I only stayed there for 24 hours, which they told me they had never seen that happen. That is a 72-hour hold period.
Yeah.
I was there for 24 hours.
They force you.
Yeah, I was there for 24 hours. When that doctor came in there and talked to me, I was like, listen, I don't belong here. I'm just going through it. Life is lifing, and I'm just upset. Like, when I got here yesterday, I was just upset. So they end up calling the fun police and asked him that he feel that, that I would be fine if they took me home, and he said yeah, so they let me go. So that's why I told her. Yeah, that's why I was like,
y'all,
I was like, you gotta calm down.
Different.
You gotta calm down. You gotta act like you got some sense. She was like, okay. No, she did the total opposite. I was calling up there, checking on you. I'm talking to them, checking on you. They was like, yeah, she's lashing out. She's this. I'm like, God dang
flipping tables over. God, I mean, like,
dang it, Roxie.
Oh, I was 38 hot in there, y'all. Like, I was like, because they were treating me like a criminal.
Yeah.
And a criminal that had just had a baby.
Yeah.
Who just needed some bottles or something to pump into in a dang on pump.
And then you hadn't seen your baby in a couple of weeks while you was in there also. But then your ex-fiance left you in Florida, come back to St. Louis, and like your family, that's what you were saying, that Florida is big, the tip of the Glock.
Yeah.
So
it's big. So I'm originally from Pensacola, which is known as the tip of the Glock because it's like Florida's in the shape of a gun,
right?
So it's way at the top, and then we're in West Palm Beach, which is way at the bottom, like literally 2-3 hours from Miami. So my family's nowhere near where I was.
And then he leaves and come back to St.
Louis. Granted, I have to say, my 8-year-old had school like literally probably the following day.
Right. So to a certain extent it was understandable, but you know, me as a friend, I'm just like, why he leave her? But it was fine. You know, we was having conversations with him. And of course he was taking it personal because some of the things that you were saying to him, and I was having to have conversations with him to let him know that this is not Roxie. Like, I understand what she's saying, but this is not Roxie. I'm gonna need for you to give her a little grace and stop taking it so personal, because this is not her. Something is going on mentally right now where she is outside of herself, and I need for you to stick in there with her because she needs us. She needs everybody more than ever now. Yeah. But fast forward, he did go back because the plan was I was gonna come and get you, okay? Because you hated him. Yep, you hated him at the moment.
We had some altercation up in. That's what sent me to the doggone hospital. I'm gonna just say that because it was a lot going on, a lot of miscommunication. We were actually going to church that Sunday that I ended up going into the hospital. I never made it to church. I was actually right by the church breastfeeding the baby. I had on a strapless dress,
right?
And I knew that once I went to church, if he got hungry, I'm not gonna just be able to
plop it out.
I stayed in the car, ended up going live that day, talking about all kind of shenanigans.
And everybody was so worried about that live. They was worrying me about the live.
Apparently, my boob probably was showing your throughout it. So
towards the end, your boob was showing.
Like that's what everybody was worried about. And it's a natural thing to breastfeed. So till this day today, I'm like, I mean, you can tell I was going through it.
But you could tell that you were going through it, but when I went back and watched the live, because it took me a long time to watch it because they made it seem like it was more than what it was. So it was like I didn't want to see you in that state. So I refused to watch it. But then I was trying to get an understanding of what was going on and, you know, why. And so that's what made me go look at the live. And you could tell that you was going through it, but it was I feel like it was more of a depression type going through it, more like I just had a baby and this is hard and things of that sort. And then of course towards the end of the video, your boob did pop out on screen, but it was like, it's a boob, it's a nipple, y'all. Can we stop acting like we ain't never seen a nipple before? Or even though normally we probably wouldn't see your nipple, you would probably see my nipple before we see your nipple. But I'm like, it's a nipple. Right,
and I was breastfeeding. So, I mean, the way everybody was acting, like, y'all see that video? Calling. I mean, people were calling me at the hospital. You need to find out. We need your password so we can take the video down.
Girl, and there was another thing. Your ass was smart. Y'all, when I tell y'all she's so smart, like, and she's a bullshitter too. Like, you cannot BS a BSer. She's a bull. That's why I know how to deal with it because you and the fun police are really alike when it comes to stuff like that. But everybody was trying to get her password to get into her laptop. You was acting dumb. You was acting dumb. Like you ain't know it, but you end up calling out the password to me like randomly in a conversation. I don't even think I remembered the password. I tried to remember it or something, but everybody else was like, she was like she didn't remember what it was. I was like, shit, she probably don't. This girl got a laptop, an iPad, 2 cell phones that she be having with her all the time, but she was not giving people access to her stuff. And that's smart though. Like, you was out of it, but you wasn't that far out of it. You was making sure your shit was good, but to a certain extent, because
in my eyes at the time, I don't know what was going on. I think it was the point of the matter of I'm in a mental health facility trying to get the hell out of here. I'm not worried about no Facebook, nothing. No pass. I only had access to my phone. So I think it was more so that, and it might have been the first time that my ex-fiance had called. because I actually had my sister and my mom on the list to talk to me. I didn't have his name on there, so I didn't realize that he couldn't call until after the fact. And the first time we talked, it was about that. So I'm
like, dude, I'm in here fighting for my life.
That's all you got to say?
And you talking about a password to a damn computer? Yeah, I would. That was the least of my worry too. My worry was, because when I talked to you, you was like, yeah, I'm up in here. I done had a conversation with Lil Boosie. Then you said Albert Einstein was there. And I'm like, damn, I know I ain't the smartest person in the world, but I know Albert Einstein is dead.
Listen, it was a guy. So first of all, there were two parts of the facility.
Right.
And I'm writing about this too in my book.
Yes.
There's beach and there's palm. I was in palm. Okay.
Right.
Beach is what a real crazy cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs were, but I believe they were not crazy. I believe they were prisoners because it was not a hospital. It was a facility.
Right.
And some of the people that apparently the mental health part was full of a lot of people. And I remember my roommate was this younger Caucasian girl. And when I tell you, she was just so privileged and so ditzy, and so she accused me of rummaging in her stuff. I think it was some papers or something. Yeah, it was just all kind of stuff.
What your papers on?
It was just all kind of stuff that was happening.
Right.
So I was over the whole side of where I was. I think they were running out of like shampoo. They were running out of conditioner. There were so many people over there, and I asked to go to beach, which was the other side. And those were the people that I met. Literally, there were people that were saying they had been there for 4 or 5 years, like stuck.
Damn.
They had plenty.
So I know you probably your mind
material.
was probably like,
yeah,
I'm like, finna be in here for that long.
I have to get out of here. Like it got worse then because it was a lot going on. The whole Albert Einstein conversation. It was a guy in the other side that looked just like Albert Einstein.
We figured it out after the fact.
His son.
We figured out.
I was giving people nicknames.
You were but during the time it was like, oh hell no.
But to them, if you like, I'm in here with Lil Boosie, and to them it's like, okay, she crazy, like she done gone nuts. But I was giving people nicknames. It was a guy in there that favored Lil Boosie. That was we was rapping, singing, doing all kind of stuff. I mean, I made friends in there.
She did. She did.
And I'm gonna tell y'all, mental health is real, because one thing I realized about that hospital visit was my addiction. My addiction was not like normal, like drugs, alcohol. And my addiction is helping people. And I'm like,
you are always trying to. And I be having to tell you sometimes, because even like, you know, she is a businesswoman, and I don't know if y'all knew, me and Roxie are actually business partners. We should have said that in the beginning. We're actually business partners. So she's just like me. We're serial entrepreneurs. Yes. Like we're always looking for the next investment. And I even heard, you know, you trying to do investments to benefit other people, and it was like, even with the you trying to buy the building. And he's like, I told this girl that, I'm going to go too far into detail, but I'm just like, Roxie, you know, I understand helping other people, but sometimes you can't help everybody.
Yeah, you can't.
Especially not in front of yourself. You have to make sure yourself is good, and then if you can pull some other people with you along the way, that's fine, but you can't do stuff based off of helping other people, which is a good quality about you. It's just sometimes you got to scale it back just a little bit, you know. And
to be honest, like now that we sitting here talking about it, just to be real, like maybe that situation happened in order just for God to be like, okay, you got to exit that part of your, because literally when I tell y'all I was in a mental health hospital, I probably had 10 out of 15, 20 of people that were on the side of mine, their numbers or how to contact them when we got out. Like, okay, you used to be a truck driver. Cool. I'm finna put this together. We're going to do this. Like, I'm literally making business plans in the doggone mental health facility. I believe you. Trying to help the people that was in there. Like, and I probably made a good 2-3 great friends, you know. But it was literally that situation that probably gave me the wake up call. Like, you can't help everybody. You can't bend over backwards to do things above yourself. So that previous relationship of mine was literally set off of potential. Like,
It was.
you have the potential to do
was.
this. You have the potential to do that.
Yeah.
Let me do this. I literally did way
And my ass egged you
too
on.
much. You did egg me on.
I egged that shit on. I feel so bad now because I'm like, I guess in my head, I've been with the Fun Police for so long, and the Fun Police has always been a provider. Like, one thing I can never say about him is that he ain't always made sure that me and the kids had everything we needed, everything we wanted. So he has always been a provider, but he wasn't always the greatest individual just in general. Like, he's a good person. He's always been a good person, but he has a past, and he has things that he did in the past that if he was doing that shit today, it wouldn't fly. Back then I was young. He was young. He had no guidance. I had no guidance. So then I see this person that you're with, and I'm like, oh, he's doing this. You know, he's cooked. I don't know. Was he cooking? He was cleaning, because I remember we went to Florida. We went to well, he probably was trying to win you over too,
right?
We went to
people get in relationships and do everything that you might like in the beginning so they can keep you around.
He doing stuff for the 8-year-old. He cleaning the house. He, you know, and I'm like, okay, that's great, because I saw him doing everything that the Fun Police didn't do in the beginning, and the only missing piece was the financial part of it, the drive, the hustle. That was the missing part. So I'm like, okay, you a hustler, you know, because you are. And I'm like, okay, if you dust them off a little bit, show them a couple of ropes.
I should have known better.
Man, I feel so bad, because I was like, yeah, you might have to just.
Yeah, I feel like I was on Dateline, like legit Dateline. Like, girl gets involved with somebody that's. We got a court case going on right now, so I can't say too much. But literally, like,
basically
criminal type shit.
Criminal type stuff, and basically just up, left, took your baby. Which in the beginning, him having the baby made sense. Okay, you did need to pull it together, but not have your baby and with no intentions on giving him back. That was not okay.
That was the icing on the cake. And that's when I realized, okay, did this person have the potential to always want this particular situation to play out like this since the beginning?
Right.
Or was his intentions good in the beginning?
And it just kind of switched up because of the circumstances.
To this day, I'm just going to say, I don't know for the sake of the camera.
Yeah, for the sake of the camera. For the sake of the camera.
But realistically, yeah, the way that guy got my attention to stop helping everybody trying to do this, you know, you can't date off potential, not especially when you're grown. I agree. If a person show you who they are in the beginning,
that's who they are.
Believe them.
That's who they are.
And if you can't deal with what they have going on in the beginning, don't try to change. Don't try to, because what I was doing, I saw a project in front of me.
You did.
And I'm like, okay, I can invest this part in this. I can do this. I mean, we starting businesses up. We starting companies up.
And to my defense, I did egg it on, but to my defense, I don't think I realized it was
the magnitude.
It was as bad as it was.
Because it was all on my dime.
And I'm not realizing that. You know, I'm not realizing that. And, you know, we've had conversations, of course, about it. And I'm just trying to be a good friend and, you know, just trying to, I guess, because when you have a friend that's in a new relationship and they're happy, you kind of don't want to rain on their parade. So it wasn't like I was going to try to rain on your parade. So that's why I'm like, yeah, if you dust them off a little bit, you know. And then I'm like telling you, give them a little grace. And that's your word that you use with me. You were like, give yourself some grace. And I'm like, give him a little grace. We all rooting for him.
Gave way too much grace.
Too much grace. And he literally put you in the worst situation you can ever be in. And not to put too much information out there, because we know that it is a criminal matter and we don't want to mess that up, but he basically ran off and left her in a horrible situation that you're trying to pull yourself out of right now.
Horrible situation.
You're gonna pull out of it though.
Ran up countless amounts of dollars.
Yeah. He came in with nothing and walked away with everything. Well, not everything.
Walked away with my baby.
Walked away with your
and
baby.
Filed for custody based off of facilities.
And I'm like, cause I when I had a conversation, cause I actually went off on him.
And used my credit cards to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I would have known that was
that's
going
why
on.
That's why the confusion comes in. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. When I found out, cause matter of fact, before I found out that he was using your credit cards, I had a conversation with him because I had went off on him, y'all. I cussed him out so bad, and it was out of fear because it was another situation that happened that she ended up in the hospital for the third time, y'all. This whole situation had been going on for a while, for the third time, and we didn't know where she was at. And all we had was your Tesla, because I was logged into your Tesla. Somebody else was logged in. I'm not gonna say any names. I'm trying to leave some people names out of this. Somebody knows. Initially, somebody else was logged into your Tesla. They were calling me and was like, her Tesla is showing here, but it's showing the door is open. The door was left open, and it was showing like one of the windows was left open. And then we went to the location where it was showing that it was last at, and it wasn't there. And we're like, what happened? We didn't know where she was. We didn't know where your 8-year-old was. So we're like, what happened? So we're scared. We finally talked to him, and another friend of ours talked to him about something else. It was a house that was under contract or something like that. Yeah. And she just randomly asked, like, hey, have you talked to Roxie? And he was like, yeah, she's at the hospital. And it's like, what? And then we're like, well, where's Jaden? Oh, I put him on a flight back to his dad this morning. And it's like, what? Like, what is going on here? Like, why didn't you feel the need to call the people that you know that are in her corner to at least give us a heads up, let us know what's going on? You literally packed up, left her, have not been there for her, and you're making, decisions, like major decisions like that for her care, and not say anything. You don't even know what's going on with her right now. You don't know what's going on with her right now.
Yeah, the situation was.
He didn't know what the situation was, so I flipped out. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. I called him because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be at odds with this person because I want her to be able to have a healthy co-parenting relationship, be able to see her son. So I was like, let me call him. Let me let him know that, I don't apologize. And I told him this. I do not apologize for what I said to you because I meant every word, but I do apologize for how it was delivered. I could have done it better. But I don't have a problem with him. And I'm like, she just wants to see her baby, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe a couple of days later, I found out about the credit card situation. I'm like, God dang it. I want to take that whole conversation back.
Because I didn't know about the credit card situation. Like there was a joint card that we had, not together, it was in my name, but we were using it for different things. Right. That joint card got used
for everything.
Way more than what was
for everything.
For everything by this person.
Out to eat.
And then once I was in that facility, that I think that's when the other situation started with him getting my child support card, my debit card.
Your money that's intended for your kid.
My kid. And I literally did not realize this until months after when a friend of mine looked at the statement and was like, this charge for like $1,500 matches the attorney.
He used her child support money to pay for an attorney to take her to court to take her baby.
So that's why it's a gray area for what was the whole purpose of all of this. And y'all, it's a lesson learned. I'm not gonna lie, because
it is.
Bro worked at I'm just gonna say the coffee shop when I met him. And
here you are with your own house. Listen, let me brag on my friend for a little minute.
And I was told he had roommates when I first met him.
She living in her own house that she owns in Lake St. Louis. If y'all know anything about just the St. Louis area in general, Lake St. Louis is a very, I won't say it's upscale. I would say it's on the it's almost upscale. I wouldn't say it's like up here. It's not like front neck or anything. But Lake St. Louis is a really, really nice area. In the homes in St. Louis, Lake St. Louis, we'll just say that you pay for the area.
Yeah, you do.
So those houses, and that's where I moved from, where she sold my house.
I saw her running.
Where she saw me running. So here she is, a single woman. She owns a nice home in a very nice neighborhood. She drives a Tesla. Okay. She had her Tesla before. Tesla was huge. You had your Tesla back when?
Probably in 2016, 17.
You had a Tesla before everybody had a Tesla. I feel like a lot of people have Teslas now, but you had them back when it wasn't.
Yeah, when it wasn't
as common to see
big,
somebody.
especially here in St. Louis. I saw Tesla for the first time in Tampa, and I didn't, because they don't advertise, so I didn't know what it was. I just saw the car. I said, "What is this T-shape?" So I Googled. I'm like, it's electric. So that's what was like. Okay, I always wanted a Tesla. So
how much you pay for your Tesla?
Well,
a lot.
It wasn't 100,000 quite.
Well, that's how much they are now. Yeah. So back then,
I bought my car 1 year used,
which is it's okay.
Yeah, 1 year used, so it was close to 70.
I just say that to just put it. I'm just trying to put it into perspective of what he walked into. He walked into somebody who had their own, who was let's just tell the people how many houses. Within a 24-month time span, how many houses did you sell when you met him?
I was probably doing about 30 a year.
And that's phenomenal. Like,
I was probably doing about 30.
That's more than a couple of houses a month.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm humble.
She's very humble.
I'm like, I'm just, I ain't making no noise, but
most of this information I did not know until after she went through her situation, because baby, when I tell y'all her personality had popped, like she was telling people that she sold this many houses and this is what she make and she drive a Tesla, but that's not her personality, but it was like her personality was on 1,000 when she was in the midst of her storm. I loved it though. I was like, damn, for real? It's like, oh shit. I kind of knew, but I didn't know. But so you're somebody that's working at a coffee shop and living with roommates, and you find and get into a relationship with somebody who is established as you are. It almost make you wonder what his intentions were, because baby, when he swooped in, he was not leaving. He was there.
And that's why, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, y'all. It really is.
You ain't the first and you ain't gonna be the last.
But it's a lesson learned, because in a matter of 5 or 6 months, he proposed. Yeah. So we didn't know each other, and I always say, to his defense, maybe, just maybe, that's why the whole let me take this, let me take the baby, let me do this. My mom said he had a conversation with her. It was like, I'm not worried about nobody but me and my son, and that's kind of what rubbed me the wrong way.
They rubbed the fun police the wrong way. And the fun police said that he had to tell him when he made that comment to him, is that I'm not going to let you do that. Yeah. Like almost like he didn't care what happened with you. And it was like that. And when I had the conversation with him, I told him my husband would never. And he told me, that's the difference. That's your husband. And I'm like, that's crazy. I hear you. But even before we said I do, he would have never
just left
me.
Yeah. And never. That's why it's the whole, what were your real intentions?
Right.
Like, what were you stole this, you stole that, Yeah. So what
was it his intentions, or did he just see an opportunity and was like,
Dateline, y'all.
And I'm trying to be neutral, because this is somebody that you are gonna have to co-parent with for a long time. So I know at some point you guys are gonna have some type of relationship.
Yeah, and that's why, and to be honest, I try to see things from both of our perspectives.
Right.
You need to get that.
No.
See things from both of our perspectives, like giving the benefit of the doubt. Because you only can provide or do what you know how to do. And unfortunately, maybe just maybe he don't know or didn't know how to be a fiance or a husband. You know, when you check track records of people, he was engaged before.
Okay.
You know,
I forgot about that.
Didn't do XYZ before. Right. So it's like,
you got a point. You got a point.
You know, at the end of the day, the best that I can do now is try to have the most healthy co-parenting relationship.
I think y'all will be able to.
Even though, you know, there's this criminal situation that's going on. There's the whole stolen factors. Then the factors of you don't want to try to do anything outside of court, you know, because you want to.
I think y'all could have figured it out outside of court, but
definitely. But that's what questions the intention again.
Yeah.
Because you filing for custody and child support.
And I'm gonna make it clear. When she was going through her storm, I never felt that she was a harm to herself, her kids, or anybody else. Yeah. So him, you know, basically keeping this baby from her as if she was gonna harm him is crazy to me, because I never felt like you would ever never felt.
If anything, I was literally overly like
and through this whole time she had her 8-year-old. She had her 8-year-old, and there was a situation where he did put the 8-year-old on a flight back to Florida to where his dad was, and she had to go to court, and the judge was like, you have until such and such date to have him back in St. Louis. So the judge never saw you being unfit to have your 8-year-old. So what makes, you know, him feel like...
And I had to deal with a case with that situation also. Because,
you've been getting it from...
my 8-year-old's dad thought it was cool to lie and tell everybody, including my family, that I wanted to kill myself, my kids,
She's never said that.
Never said it.
Never.
And that's why I tell people, when you have a baby, when you go through like hormonal changes, you have postpartum, whether it's, I like to call it postpartum amnesia, because you do sometimes forget stuff. Like you have short-term memory with stuff. You remember long-term stuff, or you remember what people did to you, but short-term is real when you just had a baby. You haven't had no sleep. You have insomnia, you know.
Right.
Postpartum psychosis, I didn't realize the magnitude of what psychosis was until I Googled it, because I will say the second mental hospital that I was in, and how I ended up there, is my sister took me there to get some medication
without her knowing that.
Without
telling you that I'm bringing you here so they can admit you. Yeah. Was that what it was?
So when I look at the situation now, I don't know if she actually knew that they were going to admit me.
Okay.
But that's still a gray area. I don't know. I was upset. I was really mad at the fact, but apparently Florida law is, if you've been Baker Act once and you go back to the hospital, they have to Baker Act you a second time. So I was told to stay out of Florida.
Yes.
During that,
she stayed trying to go to Florida. It was like, girl, if
there was
you
so
don't
much
keep
going
your
on
butt out of Florida. But I said in the defense of your sister, or just your family in general, I felt like they did the best that they thought that they could do. Like, I feel like they thought that they were making the best decisions for you the best way that they could. So I know you didn't agree at the time. You was like, but I was like,
because the only thing I wanted to do was get back to my baby. Yeah. The first mental health facility, I ended up having to go to court to get out of there.
Yeah, and she got herself out.
They were going to have me in there an additional 2 weeks had I not said, let me talk to the judge one more time, because the little attorney that they give you while you in there, they don't have your best interest at heart.
Yeah, they don't care.
And I'm like, listen, Judge, it was one of them situations. This is why I ended up here. This is what I'm trying to do. I have to get out of here. I need to get back to my babies. So once I got out of the second one, my whole intention and my whole priority was getting back to Florida to get my 8-year-old, to get my baby. So everybody around me was like, we don't know what she's going to do. So that's how I ended up in my hometown. And then they end up taking me back to the the facility because I was talking about spending money. I was talking about getting the Airbnb, watching a football game.
She was spending.
So that's another symptom that
it is.
People have, which I was still the same. Like, I was still gonna look to find the lowest price Airbnb on the beach,
baby,
and chill, because I love the beach. I love to have a little moment where I can lay out on the beach.
Because we went on a trip together. I was in charge of the hotel. She was in charge of the car. We get there. She didn't rent a damn G-Wagon. So she is extra.
To my defense.
And I can appreciate that.
My friend said she was looking at G-Wagons. And I'm like, well, let me get a G-Wagon so we can both see how it... So I wasn't doing too much.
We are alike in a lot of ways. But she's just more spontaneous than I am. So yeah, she is one of those people that's going...
I am pretty spontaneous.
She gonna spend a bag on experiences.
What I will say, y'all, is take pictures, you know, live your life. I'm not saying spend all your money, but take a moment and take a trip somewhere, because you just never know when you can be gone.
But baby, every time I came to your house to check on you, it was a new box on the porch. I'm like, what did she buy now? I'm like, but you know what? I didn't feel comfortable taking your cards from you, but that was like what I was thinking. Like, do I need to go over here and like steal her freaking bank card and all her credit cards? During
that time, and I want to say it was after I got out of the second hospital, when I came back, there was, I will admit, there was a lot of things going on mentally. I won't call them delusions, but I will say, you feel like you can kind of do anything, conquer anything. I've always been a no fears type of person anyway. I was at the time working on getting hours to get a pilot's license.
You were.
I was trying to help this person that I was dating, about to be engaged to, create businesses to make money. I was responsible for a lot of stuff, running a brokerage for 6 people. I felt like it was a lot. It was too much. Yeah. So with my hormones being like through the roof, I probably did not look at money at the time.
No.
And that's one of the symptoms of psychosis, or whatever you want to call it. I don't like to say psychosis now, because I realize when you Google it, all you see is woman killed 8-year-old, woman killed.
And those are the extreme cases.
Those are the extreme cases.
Your case was not.
People don't
like
talk
that.
about the experiences of maybe feeling like you can conquer the world. Yeah. Maybe feeling like you have unlimited amount of money, you're never going to run out.
Yeah.
You know?
And no, she did not spend all of her money. Somebody else did, but you know, she didn't do it. You spent some, but all of her money did not leave because she was spending. It was someone else contributed to that, and you were giving people money.
Yeah.
And people were taking advantage. I feel like people were taking advantage of the fact
thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And after I had a conversation with this person that it was not in your best interest for them to take this money from you, they took it from you anyway. And that pissed me off.
I know it did. But to that person's defense, I will say that it was a hard thing. It was a hard thing, because it wasn't just in that moment. It was a whole lot of months and years of knowing them, building up to it. So I don't necessarily regret that situation. There was a lot of other situations that were probably a red flag when it came to how much I was doing and what I was doing.
Well, I would say in that situation that I was talking about, I think you probably would have done that regardless if you was going through what you was going through or if you wasn't. That's something that you probably would have done.
Now, was the timing right?
No. Yeah, it was just the timing. It was normal, but it the timing.
The timing wasn't right.
The timing was,
because if you just had a baby and you in facilities, you're not making no money.
No.
I didn't realize that my mortgage was not being paid
because he was responsible to pay it, and since he decided that he was leaving, it didn't get paid. So 2 months behind on the mortgage, your credit is going to go down. And we talking about somebody with an over 800 credit score, okay?
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's gonna come back.
So
and
surely.
It's probably not even horrible, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm still at about a 730, 740. So it's not terrible.
Oh yeah, you're good. That's him. Come on, so you can get on out our way.
Right.
I called him before we did this so he wouldn't interrupt us, and then here he come interrupting us. He's so silly.
Strawberries all in the glass.
What's up, Roxie?
What's up? What's up?
I understand.
Y'all, the fun police just got home, interrupting us.
We've been conversating.
But I guess to say, we just gonna say this. You're good now.
Yeah.
She's been good for a while now. Like, no, I have not worked. I don't even call you every day. At first, I was popping up at your house every damn day.
Yeah.
Calling, getting on your nerves. Now, we go probably a couple of weeks. Maybe we talk every other week, maybe. Of course, we talk because, business stuff that we have to stay in communication about. But I don't feel like I have to always check in on you because you're good. Even though I know you're still not all the way in the clear. And when I say all the way in the clear, I'm meaning like she's not going through what she was going through.
Yeah.
Now she's dealing with trying to regroup after being in a relationship, having a baby,
and try not to focus on the past. Yeah, that's the part about mental health people don't talk about. I think everybody goes through something in their life where your mental health is triggered.
Heck yeah,
and you have to be okay with saying that you're not okay. Yeah, because at the end of the day, whether it's the medication that's going to help you get back into the swing of things, whether it's church, whether it's you digging deep into what you need to dig into to get yourself back better, it is important to do so or get help because mental health is real.
Get help. And she just told me the day before yesterday, talking about I didn't book a trip. Talking about what did you say? I didn't book the irresponsible trip. And normally I was like, so irresponsible, but I know that you have to do whatever it is that you need to do to get your mental health
to pick yourself back up
to where you
stay busy, stay outside. Don't stay inside. You might want to just lay down and
because you was doing that for a while too.
Yeah, I will say that I was. My night of sleep turned into a day of sleep. Yeah. Which is not healthy and not good for anybody. You're not making no money because you're not getting out of bed.
Right.
So it's important to just, take the necessary things, precautions or whatever you need to do to get yourself together.
Right. And also check on your strong friends, y'all. Check on your friends that you think are like, oh, they're good. They're always happy. They're, nothing is wrong with them. Still check in on them. If you haven't heard from them in a while, or because like normally with you post on social media pretty often. So when you go long periods of time without being on social media, it is a red flag. It's kind of like, is she good? Let me send her a text message and say, hey, and I struggle with that for a long time where I be in my own mess. I be in my own head. So I would notice that I haven't talked to a certain person, and I might think in my head like, oh, I hope everything is good with them, but I never pick up the phone. So I try to be intentional that when certain people in my life cross my mind, even if I haven't talked to you in a while, if you cross my mind, I'll shoot you a text message and say, hey, you was on my heart today. Just saying, hey, how are you? So being intentional with checking in on your strong loved ones.
Yeah, those strong people break sometimes too.
Because even me seeing you not too long ago where you broke down and cried, you're not a crier.
I'm not. I'm really
you
not.
are not a crier. So it was like, Damn.
I'm really not, but
Yeah.
this last season of life have been a season. Like the old people say, just keep on living.
Keep on living.
And at some point, you might go through something that really knock you off your feet.
Yeah, and it's a learning experience. And like I told you before, it's all part of your story. I really want you to write a freaking book.
I've been writing. I got a good 13 chapters.
Okay.
I just gotta
write a book.
be safe with it.
Be boisterous. Tell your story. Your story will help a lot of people, because a lot of people don't know that and I know you don't like to call it psychosis, postpartum psychosis, but call a thing, postpartum psychosis, because it is a thing, and in most cases are not as severe as the cases that will pop up once you Google it.
Yeah.
But it's a real thing. So when you're having friends and loved ones, your spouses, people that are having babies, these are things that y'all need to be looking for, like
And aware of.
Yeah. And when you see something is off, immediately say something, get them some help. I wish I would have acted on my concern, but I brushed it off thinking, oh, maybe this is normal for her, because we didn't talk every day.
Yeah.
And, I'm not knowing, so I just brushed it off. But I wish I would, even when I saw you in the hospital, I wish I would have brought up some questions then.
Yeah.
Because I think if we would have caught it ahead of time, it wouldn't have went as far.
And
as
I
it
think
went.
sometimes it can be circumstantial too. Situational things could contribute to how bad it could be.
Yeah, I agree. So when you got somebody poking you in.
Poking at you, I didn't know who to trust, y'all. I was cutting my phone on airplane mode because I'm like, they after me, the government after me. A lot of that had to do with some of the things that I was saying in the first hospital when I was in there for high blood pressure. Once they had me on some type of medicine, I remember yelling to the top of my lungs a whole bunch of stuff that was just happening in the world.
I believe you.
And I remember a young lady passing by my room and she started clapping.
Really?
Yeah, she was clapping for me as she was going out. So I'm like, I was talking about Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about criminal. I was talking about all kinds of stuff.
Oh my God.
So I wasn't 100% there.
Yeah. Right.
But I do remember feeling like there were people out to get me once I got out of there.
Yeah, she had me take her to Target so that she can get some hair dye. You got some hair dye from Target. Then we went to Walmart. You got some more hair dye.
But it wasn't funny then.
It wasn't funny then.
I have to dye my hair white.
Yeah.
Because...
And you had random stuff. You had left it over here and it was bags of random stuff that you got.
Because I was going to do a photo shoot with the baby.
Girl.
It was some... I was all over the place.
But
I was still here. I was never suicidal.
She was more
contemplating hurt nobody. It was just
having fun. She was just living her life.
I was in a movie.
You was just living your life, baby. You was
I felt
having
like
fun.
I was in a movie because of all the stuff that I was experiencing and going through. So
But
I'm like, I gotta dye my hair white for the.
She's good now, and her hair is not white. Y'all, she did her hair so cute today.
Under my seat.
But she has starter locks. I'm so excited for her locks to grow out.
Thank you,
But she did the crochet.
Yeah, starter locks be
It makes you second
tough.
guess.
It does.
It makes you look at yourself a lot different. You be having to have them pep talks with yourself in the mirror before walking out.
Have
the
your
house.
confidence.
But then
so I braided mine back and crocheted.
But then it gets like this. If you just stand the
Lovely
test of time, it's hard, but it's gonna get there, and I'm excited for it. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah,
because we've been talking for a while. my whole point in this particular podcast was to bring up mental health, because mental health, if y'all know anything about me, I am huge about mental health. That is serious. I deal with mental health issues. I mean, more so depression and stuff, but that's still mental health.
All do.
And I'm huge on, being intentional with your mental health, making sure that you're okay, doing the things that you need to do to be good mentally, and then also to give her an outlet to kind of tell her story a little bit. We got into it, but we didn't get deep into it.
we didn't get deep
we
into
would have
it.
to revisit this once your legal situations are over. Once all the legal stuff is done
from it.
Yeah.
Dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Dig a lot.
So that we won't get in trouble for saying stuff that we ain't supposed to be saying. I might have to send this whole episode to your attorney just to get the okay to post it. Like we
it's cool.
We ain't incriminating ourselves, are we?
We ain't say too much.
We ain't say too much. So again, y'all, I'm just figuring this out. This is literally the first episode. I'm figuring this out. Don't even have a name for this. But I hope y'all like this episode. Give me some ideas of other stuff that y'all want to hear. The Yale Talks.
The Yale Talks. I like
Yale
that.
Talks. They got a ring
possible.
to it. They got a ring to it. Give me some other ideas of things that, topics that you guys would like to hear me talk on. I know y'all say y'all want to see the Fun Police. Trying to get the Fun Police on the podcast is going to be hard as hell, but I'm going to try. I got to give him something to talk about because he needs to prep for it. But anyway, we are done here. And as always, see you guys next time.